Today on American Outlaw, let me introduce you to the most intimidating gun that I own. And I'm not kidding, the most intimidating gun I own. By the way, it's an air gun.
Hey, how much you want to bet I can shoot a crane on the other side of this by ricocheting around off the water?
See if you can just ricochet.
No.
Yeah.
Oh! Let's go! Just, oh, you're right. I do need a favor right.
Did you hit him?
Yeah, he's tweaking in that hole.
Oh, did you get him?
I think
you got him.
Is he there? Wait, stop. Look. It's today's sponsor.
All right, guys, let me give you an update on Transcend. I just started today, my 4th week on Transcend. I am down 15 pounds. I will give you guys the overall everything, but I am down 15 pounds. Now, some of the things that has happened, week 1 on the BPC 157, whatever it is. That first week, my knees felt like they swelled up, and I was like, this sucks. And then now on the 4th week, one of the biggest things that I noticed, because I need a new right knee, is when I walk downstairs, it doesn't hurt anymore. I think this is working. I do. I'm down exactly 15 pounds, so I've lost 5 pounds a week. Look, I love Transcend. Click the link below and go research it for yourself, and then give them a call, because I don't know what you need, but they really do. They have staff. They have baby step me through everything, all of the questions, all of the side effects, all of the benefits. I don't know of a better place where I can get more information. So go to the link below, give Transcend a look. I love them. I am not new to air rifles. I've had custom Springer rifles. I've had a friend that had custom PCP rifles like this one. And we have literally shot thousands and thousands of pests off dairies. We live in dairy country. There's a lot of dairies here. PCPs work better than anything. So I contacted Utah Air Guns, and Utah Air Guns agreed to work with us. And I have had this particular rifle. It is the FX Impact M3 in 30 caliber. When I say it is the most intimidating gun that I've ever owned, it really is. It's not like we just take these JBM pellets, load them in there, and just start shooting. No, you have to have a custom compressor. So you'll see this Alkin compressor. I'm gonna skip to that right now and show you how to use that compressor. It's probably the #1 compressor in the United States. This is the part that is just new to me and new to understanding, and it took me a while to figure out. Alkin sent me this ALK 100. This is the cream of the crop, the best you can get. Because, you know, I had a hard time going to my local scuba diving shops saying that they would air up my PCP airgun tanks. So it took a long time to get this stuff going. This part is intimidating because there's a lot of warnings that are like, if you do this, it could explode. If you could do this, you could break it. So because they're so expensive and you have so much investment into what is my literal favorite gun that I own, it really is intimidating. So let me just show you just a couple of steps here. The first thing you want to do on this Arkin ALK 100 is you want to open up all these valves, all right? So open up all 3 of these back valves. It's only intimidating when you don't know. After you know, it's not that intimidating. You do have to get a 220 volt plug in. I was able to just come underneath my breaker box. First thing you're gonna do though, is we're gonna kick it on. We're gonna let it run for 5 minutes with the valves open so that it pushes all the air out of it. I know this part's loud, but now what we wanna do, after we've ran it for the 5 minutes, is we're gonna tighten up this side. Now you can hear it. I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes blowing out on this side while this thing is warming up. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this last one. You'll hear a little change in the compressor. You know we got it buttoned up. This is giving us our 10 minutes of run time. All the moisture is out of the compressor, so when it puts in air, there won't be moisture inside of the air. And the reason you want that is you don't want it to rust the inside of your tanks or mess up your seals. I'm gonna shut it off right now and show you how to hook it up. All of this comes with the Alkin compressor whenever you buy it. So you can see that if you lift this up, I can let some air that I've already built up in here. It has a regular quick disconnect. So I just pull it back, put it on, make sure it goes down, make sure it's on there really tight. Keep the right valve, which is in line with this one, closed. and I want to open the top tank. Then I'm going to open up this portion of the tank. And this part takes a little while. It takes about 40 minutes. I'm just trying to let you see that it's not that intimidating. And what I'm not gonna do right here is I'm not gonna tell you how much to fill your tank up to, because every tank is different. They're different sizes. All right, let's fill it up. All right.
It didn't blow up.
Did not blow up. So now what you wanna do is you gotta go back and you gotta shut the valve to the actual bottle off. After we shut the valve to the bottle off, we've got to cut the valve from the compressor off. And then if you take this off, there's still pressure there. This bottle's warm. That's crazy. See, this is what's intimidating, that the bottle's warm. All right, after you do that, you slowly open this side, and that bleeds the rest of this off so that I can pop this off. And now I have a full tank. Now I want to put this back on. Now getting back to the compressor, a couple things that I want to do is I want to bleed off the air. After I bled off the air, then what I want to do is I want to come back here and I want to bleed the air out. It's pretty loud, but what this is doing is this is getting rid of all of our water. See the water that comes out? This water, although it looks like it's just a little bit of water, when that moisture gets in, as it sucks it out of the actual air, there's humidity in the air. And so that's what these PCP compressors do. After this, what I want to do is I just want to come back, lock it all up so that I'm not getting any more air inside of there. And then I'm done. This Alkin compressor is pretty exceptional. They've got a lot of different model sizes. This is like the professional side. There's just literally, there's no compressor that's better. Bar none. And then you have to have something custom like this scuba tank, where
I'm not gonna lie, when you were filling this up in your garage, the reason that I wasn't in your garage was because I thought we were all gonna die.
I know, Micah was like, we're filling it up, and then he just like walks out, and I'm like, where are you going? He's like,
and then anytime we were filming in the garage, I was standing behind Damien.
The tank will actually get hot when you're filling it up. We're just sitting here earlier messing with it, and Micah literally, what did you say to me?
Yeah, he's trying to put a bipod on it, and I like looked and I go, oh dude, that tank's bulging. And like he went like pale, like lost color in his skin, like freaked out. And then his stomach hurt for a little bit.
I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And
because
like,
it's always in the forefront of your mind that it is gonna blow up.
Yeah.
So when someone says the tank's bulging, you're like, I'm dead.
If you follow just a few rules, it's the most rewarding. It is my favorite gun. I guess they're not called rounds. I have a lot of pellets through this gun, and it is literally my favorite gun. I don't know now that I love any guns more than I love these PCP air guns. There's all kind of sports that are coming out with them, like PRS for PCPs. They're insanely accurate. So let's show you how accurate they are. Right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 little small targets out there, little small, I don't know, half MOA targets at 50 yards. The wind is blowing like 12 miles an hour and it's like 18 degrees. It's freezing cold, but let's see what it's like. Oof. Oof. Let's go to the next one. Little squirrel. There is absolutely no recoil. It's a 2-stage trigger and no recoil at all. There's no noise, there's no tiny little explosion that's going off in the front of your face, and you have 0 recoil. So if you have children, I would say whatever age they're most responsible to understand that they can shoot one of these, and understand that these will absolutely hurt you. Like a .22 long rifle, they very well could cause death. Like, it's not a toy. But this is probably the best training aid for every single age that there is. If you want to be a long-range shooter, if you want to tune up to go hunting, or if you just need to have fun inside the backyard, I don't know a better training aid that exists. All right, guys, we're going to try to go after some quarter MOA targets. Quarter MOA. I don't know if I could do this. They talked me into it. Let's see. Dude, those targets are smaller than the pellet. Dude, I don't know if that'll hit that.
Are you left? Let me try. What is that? It's like this big.
You can hit it, I'll give you $1.
Oh! You did it, bro!
First try.
So one of the cool things whenever you're using these is you can take your air tank, you can tether it to the gun, leave the gun open whenever you're getting low air, and it basically maintains where you can just continue to shoot. And these FX impact guns, I believe you can switch the barrels and you can have any caliber you like. This is literally the ultimate pest control gun. Rabbits, squirrels.
I haven't missed a single half MOA target, by the way, this whole time you've been talking.
I'm like, Micah, do you want to do this video with me? And he won't even stop shooting the gun. Like, it is an incredibly fun gun. It gets you the most practice, but also for some real world stuff. I don't know why I'm pointing at you with this Sharpie marker like I'm the teacher. If you are a police officer, you know, this thing would be amazing at dogs that were trying to attack you or light bulbs that you needed to shoot out.
Are you saying ATF should look into this?
ATF,
they hate dogs.
It's just versatile. It's great. Keep it inside your pickup. Shoot whatever pesty animals that you need to shoot. Nobody has any idea because it's so quiet. What else can I say about it?
I don't know. I'm going to try and shoot at 200 yards, though.
20 mils.
20 mils at 200?
20 mils at 200 is what he said.
Oh, there's no way.
Try it. Oh,
no, that was way too high. 20 mils my bunghole.
Oh, at 200! That was cool.
200 yards with the wind.
Oh, man, that was crazy.
That is like crazy.
10, 12 mile an hour wind. I can't believe you hit that.
Did you hear how long the flight time was at 200 yards?
All right, guys, so I probably scared you just a little bit with it being the most intimidating gun that I own. And that was true 9 months ago when I got it. But now I've used it enough that's not really intimidating anymore. So one of the most interesting things about a PCP air rifle is there is no firearm gas powder burning. There's no explosion inside of the gun. So they're able to make and machine these parts so precise that every pellet that comes out stays within like a 1 standard deviation, where match rifle ammo is 12 standard deviation and below. And hand loaders that do it amazing are like a 4 standard deviation. So in theory, we're about to test it out. This thing should shoot better than any rifle. It should shoot bug holes. All right, guys, the trouble with the air gun for me is the West Texas wind. It is still blowing right now about 8 miles an hour, gusting to about 12 miles an hour. So what we had to do was we had to come out here, get on this old country dirt road. Remember, pellet guns don't shoot very far, so it's not like a rifle. It's not just gonna keep going where there's any danger. I did the very best I could to get the wind blowing at my back. Always remember, at your back, it'll dive down a little bit, and when you shoot into it, it'll dive up a little bit. So the harder the wind blows, the more you want to be either with the wind directly at you or directly at your back. So we're going to do 25, 50, 75, maybe even 100 yards and just see what it does on paper, what our holdovers might be. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 25-yard group right here. I believe this is probably a legitimate 1/16 of an inch group gun indoors with no weather climate. But I really want to know how it's going to perform out here in the field because this is my hunting pellet gun. So let's take a look. There's literally absolutely no recoil, so you just really just have to hold it still. All right, that's a 5-shot group at 25. Let's go take a look at it. That's a pretty incredible group right there. Remember, these are 30 caliber pellets, so I would measure from outside to furthest outside and minus off the 30 cal. So that's somewhere near what I would probably consider a 1/2-inch group. That's pretty freaking great right there. So this is our 25 yards. We're gonna move it to 50 and see what 50 does. I don't know what the limit on this pellet gun is. I feel like 50 yards for a pellet gun is really, really hard. So one of the things also when we're thinking about group size here, my target is still kind of moving just a little bit. So if it's, I know it's not the best. I'm sorry, I love you guys though. If it is like this when one shot hits and then there's a gust of wind and it's like this, is gonna disperse that group. So I'm gonna say that 25-yard group was money. Ooh, I might have pulled that one, but I didn't pull those. I broke those pretty well. All right, so my first 2 shots dropped right here. My next 3 shots were right here. I'd still say that's a 1-inch group right there, but this is the 50 yards. 50 yards, which I feel like is far for a pellet gun, and I was aiming here. I mean, I'd say 50 yards, I'd trust that thing to shoot a bird. Let's try 75. I want to show you something. Watch my dust. So you can see how hard that wind is blowing right now. But notice I was straight at the target, as straight as I could get. My target's moving back and forth. I'm on a little white table right here. And so I'm moving a little bit. But this is field conditions. I'm using this as a field gun. I'm not, even if I was in a competition like the air gun competition in Phoenix, Arizona, fighting the wind with pellet guns is the hardest thing you can do. But in field conditions, I'm getting my actual dope. I'm getting my data on previous engagements so that I can walk out here to these prairie dog towns and thump these suckers. So yes, you want to try to find the best day to do it with the least wind and the least atmosphere. It's usually early in the morning, and any kind of shooting that you're doing right at daylight as you're watching the ambient light. So if you think about, you're watching the sunlight start to come up, and over here where you are is still shade, but over there isn't, and you can kind of watch the sun come up. Typically, you have wind sucking back towards the sun at about 3 miles an hour. This is field conditions though. This is Damien and I out here kicking it, shooting birds, shooting prairie dogs, shooting beer bottles, whatever. That's always important to keep in mind. So far, this thing is phenomenal. Still got 150 bars. All right, here we go. So I'm able to see now when the target's moving. All right, let's go look at the 75. I still have 150 bars. Let me get the air tank real fast. All right, guys, one of the things that you gotta do is there's a little nozzle in here. You just take the end, it's like a regular air compressor nozzle. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it up there, make sure that it is on and it's not gonna come off, okay? Now, then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn the tank on and I'm gonna watch the gun fill up. And right now the tank's letting me do about 190, so it's letting me do about 190. I don't know why it's not going higher. I know you can go to 250, so I'm having to fill it up just a little bit more. Maybe it's a tuning issue. And then what you're gonna wanna do is close this off. Don't just unplug this because it's full of pressure. Let this air out. You know that the air's out. You can watch the hose go down. Then you can just reach in here, plop this out, and just leave the tank on the side. But let's go take a look right now at the 75. For the purposes of this, I'm gonna X these two out, all right? And the reason I'm gonna X these two out, this is 75, is because my last 3 shots were here. So I was watching this flop in the wind, and then I changed my point of impact so that I could see the dot better, and I was waiting for the target to come all the way back. So I'm gonna tell you, with a 3/4 inch group at 75 yards, I think it's gonna kill. Let's see what it'll do at 100. All right, 100 yards. If you're trying to be a better shooter with a bolt gun or any kind of precision, there's nothing better than a PCP pellet gun because this will help you with your trigger control more than anything. I have just used air guns, springers, and PCPs for a really long time, and it really, really helps your groups and understanding your crosshairs. I actually don't know if there's any better training tool. Holy cow, dude. Dudes, come on, let me show you this. The first 2 are almost touching. The rest of them are just a little bit off, but the crosshair dots right there are so busy in that particular scope that in order to hold on a little tiny dot, it makes it really hard. But if that was an animal, no problems. Dudes and dudettes, this is 100 yards. That is impressive. It's 5 mils at 100 yards. That's impressive. I don't know what it's gonna do at 150 or 2 or 125. I also don't know what the kinetic energy is right there, so I'm gonna call 100 yards my limit based on my experience with this rifle. I've heard of some guys shooting like 200 yards with them. This is a 30 caliber. For me, this little inside of a 1-inch group right there at 100 is freaking incredible. Like, it's blowing my mind that even happened. And so, dudes, that's incredible. I'm just gonna say, until I get some time on some animals, I'm gonna stick with a 100-yard pellet gun, which is freaking incredible. All right, guys, now listen to me. Here's what I want to tell you, especially if you're a parent, because this is where it's great to start your kids out with some sort of a firearms, weapons handling. This is not a toy. Here's what I want to show you on why it's not a toy. It's not the BB gun that you guys remember. Look, This is a 2x4, and this sucker just went into the 2x4 further down than I can see, but it didn't come out of it. Now, I want you to think about this. Let's just say you had your old foot and you stuck your foot on the ground. Yes, this is a ballistics dummy lab foot. And let's just say I'm about right here, which is about even with this, and I, boom, let one off into my foot. Went into the foot, broke the bone. It didn't come out. I can see the pellet. Did it not come out right there? No, 100%. Went all the way through all of the meat and stopped in the bone, literally in the bone. Look at that. Guys, look at that. In the bone. Actually broke it. Let's just say we go even further, because I'm just trying to bring this home to you. Like, this is not a toy. Let's just say we go even further and we do like everybody else and we put it up next to our hand. And I'm gonna put it down right here just to be safer. All right, put it up next to my hand and boop, there it goes in my hand. Or maybe your kid's hand because you just thought that they were fine. And this went all the way through the hand. There is a piece of the pellet still stuck in the hand and it broke the bone. So looky here. Let's get this old pellet out of there. Here it is. All right, while this is literally my favorite non-firearm that I own. I mean, I love this thing. I covet this thing. It rides with me. I really love, I don't know how to tell you guys that I love this thing, but it's not a toy. And if you screw up, somebody will get hurt with it really, really bad. Treat this as if it is a regular firearm. Follow the 4 safety rules. Never point your muzzle at something that you don't intend to destroy. Always be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Always keep your finger straight and off of the trigger. And the last one is, this is the most important, treat all firearms, even PCP pellet guns, as if they are loaded all of the time. This was such a long video in the making just because of schedules and weather. You know, in Texas, it is either 110 degrees or it is negative 10 degrees and the wind is blowing. So we finally got a day when it's about 45 degrees and the wind is still blowing. This one is chambered in 30 caliber. One of the things that I wanted to go over with you is how incredible smooth the cocking is. If all else fails and you double feed it, I've been told you can still shoot a double feed. If you triple feed it, you're in trouble. So the best thing you can do, and especially since pellets are so cheap, is to make sure, like, am I loaded or am I not? I'm in a safe direction. I'm gonna touch one off. Yes, I'm loaded. With this pellet gun, I never have one in the chamber and it stays on fire unless it's in the house or put up. I keep it on safety. I never put one in the chamber because what I'm doing is training myself to say, there's the animal I want to shoot at. I'm going to go ahead and cock it. Now, maybe I didn't shoot at that animal. I still get just a practice shot in on the dirt just to make sure that my gun is empty. The overall balance of the gun has a 30 MOA rail on it with a 20 MOA worn mount that Utah sent me. The balance on this is pretty amazing because it kind of holds all in the center. So it kind of allows, in a proper shooting position, you to sit here and hold it and be very steady for freehand shots. Has the Arca Swiss rail on it, which makes it to where you can put it on tripods or mount any bipod or Picatinny rail that you would want on the M-LOK portion. Go ahead and have the Utah Airguns company tune the gun for you. They tuned this for me. They sighted it in for me. I had to make some fine-tuning adjustments. And so now what I'm doing is I'm learning my dope. I'm learning how it shoots at these different ranges because kind of look at it as a bow and arrow. Your dope is going to be different from, 10 yards to 20 to 30 to 50 to, you've seen what it does 5 MOA at 100. This is an amazing pest and varmint gun. Amazing little truck gun to have with you if you're allowed to fire out of the truck. All your normal firearms rules are going to apply, so you may not be able to fire out of a truck where you are. Some other use cases that I'm just thinking about in my head is this probably isn't big enough to be like your dedicated coyote rifle. This is like prairie dogs, varmints, birds, groundhogs, iguanas. Man, we went and see, Damien, can we clip in right here a bunch of footage right there, a bunch of footage of us shooting iguanas down there with Travis Wilson, the Iguana Man. I had such an amazing time down there with him. That's what we got this gun for in the first place. So iguanas, pests, boas, whatever down in Florida works amazing for. I love it for that. I'm gonna try to get this as close to my microphone as I can here. All right, into the dirt. Listen how quiet this is. This is quieter than any silenced or suppressed rifle or pistol that you can have. This thing is just as silent can possibly be. These are excellent at training, excellent at keeping trigger time up for very, very cheap to shoot. You can go in the backyard, shoot this all day long into a pellet trap, even inside the suburban areas. Make sure it's legal, but you can go out there and practice all day long and keep up on your trigger time. So when it's time to go hunting or shoot a PRS match, dude, you're dead on. I also saw, I don't have one yet, but maybe the guys at Utah will send us out another PRS model. I think it has an MDT chassis on it, and they've got PRS for pellet guns now. And so I think that that is something that I'm really looking forward to jumping into, to get that practice in, to make myself a better shooter. I want to give a huge thank you to the guys at Arkin Compressors. If it wasn't for them, this video wouldn't be possible. We're going to do a lot more with those guys. So Arkin, thank you very much. Aiden and the gang, you guys make the best compressors, best customer service. Love you guys. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications. Guys, I appreciate you. I love you. See you soon.